Welcome back. We're here to preview Sunday afternoon's big game in the Premier League between Manchester United and Liverpool. Classic rivalry, Matt. Let's start with United. They're flying. 5 wins in a row and they're up to third.
Up to third in the table, and I think many people would have thought that after the start to the season it was really poor. There's no getting away from that, but Van Gaal started to implement, I think, his tactical ideas. There's still an issue over the formation, 5 at the back, 4 at the back, but injuries have been a big problem. But the fact that they are third in the table after the start to the season they had is incredible, really. Last 5 games, like you say, I think the Arsenal one was a big one when they won at Arsenal. They didn't deserve to win that game. There's no getting away from that, but they did win the game, and that's important. And they had back-to-back home games, which they won, and then they went to Southampton last time out, which was a tough game. Southampton were in bad form themselves, but to go there and win and again, it wasn't really. It was like the Arsenal game in many ways. They sort of same formation, the way they struggled to retain the ball. But Van Persie in particular, I think that was a big thing for him to come back in that game, and not just his goals, but his overall play was very good, and they needed him because Rooney had a poor game, Di Maria was out, Fellaini had an absolute horror show in midfield, which he's been not great the last couple of weeks. But Van Persie coming back to that sort of form which he showed when United won the Premier League, when he was so good, is really important. And 5 wins in a row, if they can make it 6, then they've got some okay fixtures again before they start in January again. So it's very, very, very good times at the moment.
Definitely, yeah. And you mentioned they're looking good up front. Obviously, Van Persie scoring goals. Rooney, even though he wasn't great there, he's sort of been in pretty decent form overall. Obviously, Falcao's sitting there on the bench, probably ready to come back. So things positive there, but defensively, they're looking a little bit shaky. Obviously, they have been unlucky with injuries, and again in the Southampton game, Smalling and McNair both had to go off injured. They ended with Carrick and Rojo as the 2 centre backs, and they had Valencia and Ashley Young as the 2 full-backs. So, and you look at the players, the Liverpool players in this game, like Sterling, if he's up against a Valencia or an Ashley Young, he'll think, I've got a good chance of beating him here. But I think Raphael and Luke Shaw could be back fit for this game. Di Maria as well. If those 3 come back into the team, that's, a massive boost for Van Gaal, because, you look at the players that are going to be out injured, your Blins and all that. He was an important player in that position. So if those players come back, it could be absolutely huge for them. And I think they'll definitely fancy it against Liverpool.
I mean, Liverpool is unbeaten in 3 in the league now, but last time out against Sunderland I think that was a really poor one, wasn't it? To draw at home to Sunderland didn't create too much either, and overall, like I said, unbeaten in 3 in the league, but it's difficult to take any positives from the last game because the performance was as bad as the result was.
Definitely, and since then they've been in the Champions League as well, and they've exited the Champions League. Obviously, a 1-1 draw at home to Basel. People talking about famous Champions League nights at Anfield and all that. Obviously, it was 10 years since that Olympiacos game where Gerrard scored the screamer, but they were really poor against Basel. They went ahead in the first half, and deservedly so. It was weird. You think Liverpool at home. I know they had a few injuries themselves. Obviously, Balotelli couldn't play, but they didn't do enough. Every time Basel went forward, they looked really dangerous, but Liverpool were just blunt. After half time, Markovic came on, and he actually looked quite good. He was quite bright, taking players on, but then he got himself sent off. It was a stupid sending off. Obviously, not much contact, but he did look twice, and see him come in there through his arm. It was stupid. Obviously, Gerrard scored that. It was a wonderful free kick right off the corner of the post. Postage stamp free kick, but they almost got the win in the end, but they didn't really deserve it at all, and deserved exit from the Champions League. And you wonder whether they'll be a bit tired or lacking confidence, because 2 draws in a row at home at Anfield is disappointing.
Yeah, I think that would have hurt the Champions League game. When I think what was interesting was the lack of new signings that were actually in the team. Lallana sitting on the bench. Okay, Lambert started, but he probably wouldn't have started if Balotelli was in. The only reason Lovren came in is because Kolo Touré wasn't available at the sort of later stages. So the new signings, no one's really. Obviously, we talk about Balotelli. Everyone knows about how he struggles, but players like Lallana and stuff shown little bits. Markovic, like you said, but no one's really come in there, have they? And like last season, the signings that were made were about hoping so they could push for the title, but were they really good enough? Players like Lambert, is he going to push you to the title? I'm not for me. Moreno came on, and he's a good left back, but the players they've signed and bought in just haven't really impressed, have they? In the same way that other new signings like Chelsea and United have bought in, and it's really disappointing at the moment for Liverpool.
Yeah, I think Balotelli, he could be back for this game, and obviously he has got history at Old Trafford. With City, the Why Always Me T-shirt. So if he's back, that could be a boost to them. But I don't think many people will give him a chance here. What's your score prediction?
I strongly fancy United, to be honest. It's difficult to... Obviously, it's always going to be a tight game. It's always a big game. Liverpool won their last season comfortably, but I think with United, like you mentioned, the players coming back in, Raphael Shaw could be back. I think Herrera will come back into that midfield, and I don't think Falcao will start. I think he'll be on the bench again. That one's a strange one, by the way. That's a different point, but I think Di Maria coming back as well, hopefully. There's a lot of positives there, and I think United will win 2-0.
2-0. Yeah, I think United definitely, they have the edge going into it, given their form. Obviously, Liverpool coming off the back of, like I said, 2 disappointing draws. And I think, even though there's attacking talent on both sides, particularly United with the likes of Van Persie and Rooney, I think it could be quite a tight game, actually. I think both sides will be very cautious about losing it. I think United will just edge it 2-1. So both fancy Man U to win this one. Thanks for watching.